mindful folk. So today we are going to continue our exploration of taking in the whole of ourselves, if you like, the whole of our experience, and bring together some of the missing bits. So we've explored how we might relate to our areas that we find maybe a little bit more tricky, how we can sometimes push those away, and how actually there are great possibilities for change and development and learning by bringing some of those in, listening to those voices, and being available to welcome the whole of ourselves. So today we're taking, following the theme, but we're taking a slightly different path, and we'll be exploring our human potential, that of others and that of ourselves, and really kind of savouring that aspect of ourselves that can get left by the side. We can focus on the detail and sometimes not really taking the big picture and what we are, what we're capable of, what we've been capable of, what we carry with us. So that's our exploration for today. So we're going to start with a movement as we normally do. So these are obviously always optional. You might be sitting on a chair like myself, you might be sitting on the floor, you might be lying in bed. So this is not one that would be particularly easy to do in bed. Possible, actually it would be possible, but maybe a little bit more tricky. So if we bring our hands together in front of the sternum, front of the chest, front of the heart space, and just for a moment we give a little bit of pressure hand on hand, and that will enliven and awaken our hands, our wrists, our arms, our shoulders. And if you can, so you're not, it's just, you don't need great force, but you are looking to kind of really explore kind of the shoulders, being able to be stable, so shoulder blades coming together a little bit, and feeling some strength through this process of bringing the hands together. And from here, we are going to take the arms out to the side and press the palms away, open the chest and look up if that's not too discomforting in the neck or the shoulders. And we come back and we give a little bit of a press of the hands in, and we open up and out to give a little bit more sense of space, and opening up the chest and opening up the space in the upper back. So we're just trying to enliven our spine so that we can sit better. And we can use the breath if we want to. So what we would be potentially trying out would be an in breath as we sweep the arms out and away and open up the chest, relaxing the shoulders down, and out breath as we reunite the hands in the center. So a couple more of those. Outwards in breath, return, out breath, and you could do kind of a little bow so you're around the upper back and the chin comes into the chest. Final one. Extend out to the sides, open up through the chest, and breathe out to bring the hands back to center. And rest. So rest in the hands, finding your seat, finding your settled place, and getting yourself ready, prepared in whatever way you feel will support you to sit for 20-25 minutes comfortably. And hopefully we're giving a little bit of support to ourselves already by making contact with the body with the hands on the chest or together, but then the thumbs having contact with the body, and open up through the chest. And hopefully that's, as I say, help the spine to just lengthen. So you might be more aware as you sit here of the hands, from the pressure of hand on hand. So you might feel the warmth of the hand on the lap. You might be more aware of the arms, from the pressing of the hands and the energizing force that goes through the arms. And that may have gone all the way back through to the upper back and the shoulders, shoulder blades area. You might be conscious of the chest opening as well. So that whole area of the upper chest, rib cage, that wraps around the heart and the lungs, those precious organs that function independent of thought, luckily. So they keep us going, and they work to keep us safe. And also, as we know, the breath is something that can be adapted, so we can take control of the breath if we choose to support us as well. So just being aware of the breath in that upper part of the body, in the rib cage, in the heart space. So you might feel the breath not just through the front of the chest, but you might feel it also through the sides of the chest and the back of the rib cage, where most of the lungs are actually operating, if you like. So be really aware of that kind of expansion space in the rib cage, and that area that we cherish and need to keep well, the heart and the lungs. And just noticing how things change with the breath in that whole space. And feel almost like a warmth, if that feels comfortable, a warmth in that space. So kind of the heartwarming sense of the space. So maybe the warmth on the in-breath here. And maybe a more refreshing sense to that area on the out-breath. So filling with warm energy on the expansion of the in-breath, and filling with refreshing energy, slightly cooler on the out-breath. And see if that also gives you a sense of sitting tall, feeling long and spacious in the spine. So not just in the area around the rib cage now, focusing on the whole of the spine, from the tail, on the base, it travels through around the sacrum and the lower back, and mid-back, upper back, through the neck to the area around the connection with the skull. Imagine that maybe as a bejeweled area, diamonds or something that glitters or shines. So really imagine the aliveness of the spine. Again, you might choose to change that with the in-breath and the out-breath. You might change the intensity of the light. It might start to lighten up from the base to the top on the in-breath, and just completely sparkle on the out-breath. You choose how you find that image of the diamonds and the spine, or just light, whatever feels appropriate to just get really in touch with not just the outside of the spine, but its inside as well. So So we're getting familiar with the inside of the lungs, the inside of the heart, the inside of the rib cage, and now the inside as well as the outside of the spine. Its length, its vitality, its strength, its support, like the trunk of a tree. Provides you with stability, but also is flexible enough to support us in movement. So that strong core, if you like, strong, flexible core of the spine. And that light image, maybe bejeweled spine. And following that with the breath if you can. So you're aware that you're breathing in. You're aware you're breathing out. You're aware of that natural cycle. And you just happen to be linking that with the brightness within the spine, the vibrancy within the spine. And following the energy up now on the in-breath and following the energy down. So you could go in kind of like a loop. So you could go on the inside of the spine on the in-breath and the outside of the spine on the out-breath to really enliven that area. And just keeping your focus as best as you can with these suggestions. If you find something more interesting in the body or the breath to focus on, please feel that you can do that. Sometimes we need different ways to engage our focus so that we can rest from the chatter that is always present. We just bring ourselves back when we are aware that we've drifted off on thought, feeling, and we come back to our focus so that we can really develop and be attuned to our experience in a different way. Maybe a fuller way, maybe just a different way. It's not better, it's not worse than the everyday, it is just another way. Okay, so we're going to take attention now to the ground, or our connection with the ground. We started quite high up in the body and we're just moving down for the moment. So we might reunite ourselves with our hands, the warmth of the hands somewhere on the body possibly. And the weight of the hands so the shoulders can relax down. And wherever our bottom is, sitting on the chair or on some form of support, where our legs make contact with the support, and where our feet have contact with the earth. And just for a moment, noting that connection with the earth, with the ground, with being held, with being supported, and how that can be really help us feel safe and settled and connected to something bigger, really. So the earth, ground, something generally we can rely on. The earth beneath our feet. So we're now going to go above the body and around the body. So you choose a visual picture that helps you to have a sense of a supported sky. Yeah, so a sky above you, but it's also around you. It's your backdrop behind you and around you. So if you've got your eyes closed, that might be easier, but it's still possible if you just have your gaze low down, if you're not keen on having your eyes closed or you feel you need them to stay awake. So what's your perfect sky day? How spacious is it? How blue is it? Is it sunrise? Is it sunset? Is it a night sky, maybe? Don't know. Is it a summer sky? A winter sky? Maybe it's a favourite sky that you've seen recently. Maybe it's one you always remember. Maybe it's one from your imagination. Maybe it's one you've read about. Maybe it's one you've dreamed about. So, up to you. Sometimes it's easy to just create that around you and stay in the sitting position. For others, it might feel appropriate to imagine that you're lying on the ground, on the earth, and the sky is above you. But you just check out what feels safe and what feels good. So if you're lying in bed or lying on the floor, then it may feel more suitable to have that sense of the sky. So we keep our eye on the ground, so we still know our feet and parts of our body have contact with the ground. We have the earth, we have the sky. We have all that space to glory in, to feel both significant and insignificant in. So the space is air. There is maybe refreshing air breeze, maybe a warming feel, or maybe a chill that you're prepared for because you've got the right clothing on, a winter chill. So it's just really sky that takes your senses and awareness. You'll feel the earth, but you sense the sky in its vastness. And maybe you feel something in the heart, or you just feel something somewhere in the body. Have a body sense of what this means to connect with the sky, with the blue, with the grey, with the colours, the sun. And all that space, all that potential, all that vastness. To be. So just really nourish. If you find yourself making noise of R or or whatever, then really allow that joy to come, if it is a joy for you. Don't need to hold it back, it can be expressed. Give a little smile on the lips, a little smile in the eyes. So, as we sit and stare, as we have time to do, freedom to do, in this space, we can remind ourselves of others in our life, who've been in our life, who are in our life, who are big in what they are in their humanness. Yes. So we don't necessarily, it's not out of bounds, but we don't necessarily have to think of people that have done, famous people that have done absolutely striking things on the world, make a big impression. We generally know just a lot of people in our lives that have just done or are really big in their humanness. And it might be how they are, It might be how they are with themselves, how they've been with you, how they are with their family. It might be something that they've achieved in an area that you feel is, in brackets, worthy or meaningful. It might be just the way they brought the family up, or it might be the way they treat you, or they treat people they might be responsible for, whether that's in the work that they do, and how full and how amazing that is to have those kind of qualities that we pick up on. We pick on others' amazingness, if you like. And it's when you start to think, you may have a long lineup of people that you just, think of big human beings in the sense of being just so human, and they're not perfect, That might be part of the charm, maybe part of the specialness, that you know them, you know the little quirks, and you know the things that, but that doesn't stop them having these huge qualities that you kind of admire, you take in, you appreciate, you kind of touched by. That ability of what humans can do in their everyday. And how that feeds you, maybe it inspires you. Maybe you feel lucky, and you may have really noted their achievements in their life. Might be one big thing, it might be just every day, just doing, being. Very amazing, really. And just notice how you feel within your sky, within the feet on the floor, but with the head in the sky and the heart in the sky, and the presence of space, as well as having that kind of sense of special people in our lives that are just a gift. And while we hold that, could we possibly reveal our own greatness? Sounds a bit grand, The things that other people have noted about what we've done, that we may have said, oh yes, and kind of, but not really taking it in. Not really taking in our whole humanness, because we feel it's a bit big-headed maybe to think of ourselves as valuable, as having meaning, of being able and displaying and being big in the world. Even when we don't notice, might be something we said, might be the way we are, and it might be the magic things we've done, because we've done it with other people. We've written books, we've done research, we've achieved things with others, and we've done things that maybe we didn't think we could do, and it might have been a one-off thing. It might be something we've done bit by bit through our lives. It might be a relationship, it might be a work, it might be an interest, it might be a vocation. And it's okay to know that you do and are doing big things, achieving things, and learn and grow and can continue to do big things in that vast sky, that space, to live, to breathe, to grow, to remember, to remind of both the people you have, but such good humans and that you have those qualities. I know many of you, I know you have those qualities. So just allowing, even if it's a drip effect, just some of those qualities or experiences or achievements, or knowing that you can sometimes take up more space, sometimes grow, sometimes reach out, and knowing that is rarely, if ever, done completely independently. Yeah, there's something, somebody helps, even being kind. If somebody wasn't kind to you, you couldn't be kind to others, And we are usually interdependent as beings, so that is worth noting. And without you in the mix, those other things will not happen. Those special qualities to own as gifts, as jewels, and to open up every so often to remind and explore as a way to move forward, as a way to acknowledge others, as a way to acknowledge yourself in the whole. So I'm going to leave you in a little quiet for a few moments to sit or lie in your vastness, to reflect on and to take in your jewels and the jewels of others, and to remind yourself that those are part and present to your humanness. So breathing it in, taking it in. So keep bringing your mind back to the focus. Okay, so hoping that you had sufficient time for now to savor and to acknowledge a little bit more of yourself and your potential to be part of that vastness, as well as part of the detail. So really getting in touch with the breath and the whole of the body. So seeing the whole body breathing and the sense of the whole body breathing, if you can, imagining, visualizing, sensing, feeling, whatever your experience is. And reminding yourself that on the expansion, your great qualities of humanness, and on the out breath, being grateful for those of others, better together. And feeling the hands on the wherever they're resting, and the feet on the floor. Listening to the sounds in the space you're in, the room, the home, the outside. And being more aware of the surroundings, so whether that's with the eyes open or not at this stage. And just also being aware of the presence of other people in the virtual meditation room, so going a little bit wider here. And in your own time, just opening the eyes or flickering the eyes gently open. Wiggle the toes maybe. Move the fingers maybe. Have a little bit of a rock from side to side. Yawn. And maybe either just a stretch, or you could do a couple of the movements that we did at the beginning with the hands together, a little bit of pressure to re-engage the body, the spine, the connection. Open outwards, look up to maybe this is ceiling, but maybe imagine the sky again, and back in with the hands. And we will leave it there. So, yeah, we have our shadows and we neglect sometimes pushing them away, and that can cause some issues. And sometimes we forget how big we are as a human, how the qualities that we hold are really precious, and just our whole potential is sitting there to achieve great things to the people that matter and to ourselves. So holding on to some of that, hopefully during the day, during the week, and taking in the skies maybe this week. I believe after today there are going to be some blue skies, so yeah, maybe I have a blue sky week, and I will get back to you about our classes through March. So will be happening each week as far as I'm concerned. So we go on, and I'll just make sure you know about the theme. I'm going to let that emerge to the blue sky in the next couple of days. Thank you. Take care.